morning, if you're not that busy, I mean, still just getting up and being ready to go and being at your computer. And I really take the philosophy of going deeper with every relationship. So I treat my clients, like family. I mean, I love my family. And so when I meet someone, sometimes they're guarded and they're a little bit nervous, about working with this new salesperson. They don't know if we're going to be like that used car salesperson. So I always come from that place of like, they are my friend, they are my family. I just treat them as if I've known them for years.
That's great. That's great. I see the same thing. My clients become like family for the most part. Kirk, what about you? What would be what you attribute to your success as Icon?
Yeah, I mean, to echo what everyone else has said, I truly believe in success is built off relationships. People buy from people. It doesn't matter if they're buying a car, a house, whatever it may be. People want to buy from people that they enjoy working with and they trust. And so I think that that's a huge part of it. The other part is really doing the basics. And when I say the basics, things like door knocking, open houses, drip campaigns, all those things that the most successful people have proven over time that work. We really focus on those, whether it's busy or it's slow. We're very diligent on those practices that we do. And I think that those just build on top of each other. And I would say lastly, and one of the most important, is we do what we say we're going to do. And I think that in today's society, honestly, it's a pretty rare thing. I mean, it's amazing to me how many times someone tells you they're going to do something and then they never follow through. And people remember that. And so when we have the opportunity, the fortunate opportunity to be introduced to a potential client, we do what we say, whether that's follow up or getting them paperwork or whatever the case may be. And so I think that that's very critical, that sometimes people, when they get quote unquote so busy, they don't do that. So for any agent out there, I would really remember that as, your bond is your word. So do exactly what you say you're going to do it and do it right.
That's great, Kirk. I like that. Doing what you say you're going to do is huge, and it goes a long way with people. So great. Next question for you guys would be, do you set goals for yourself individually? I know if you have a team, you probably have team goals, but what do you do for yourself individually? And what does that look like? And then to take it a little bit deeper, have you adjusted those goals because of what we're going through right now? Let's start with Paula.
So I do, so every year I do try to increase, what I did from the previous year. And usually I do some coaching with Buffini coaching. And so usually, they suggest increasing by like 10% is what what they suggest. Right now, I think we're all just trying to figure out, what's going to happen. I'm thankful I still have, stuff in the pipeline. But I think at this point, it's just kind of hard to predict what it's going to look like. So, kind of like they were saying at the leadership meeting, just getting up every day, touching on my database, and hoping and praying for the best. But, still, I'm not checking out. I'm still staying active, doing mailers and stuff like that, and hoping, we'll see the results of that in a few months.
Very good. Kirk, what about you?
Yeah, so I have a pretty detailed goal process. What I do is about October 1st, I start to write down a list of everything that I want to achieve the upcoming year. And I break it down by 3 categories, which would be personal, financial, and business. And I'll write down every possible thing that I would think that I would want to achieve. And then over the next 2.5 months, as we get closer to January 1st, I start to trim those goals down to what I feel like are the 3 to 5 most important goals per category. So that starting January 1, I have a list of, call it 9 to 12 goals broken into the 3 categories that I really focus on. And I've done that for years. And I feel like that you can't you can't achieve every goal in life. It's just impossible. You've got to focus on the things. If you have too many goals, you'll achieve none of them. So you have to be pretty, in my opinion, focused and streamlined on what you want to achieve. So that's where I start out. In regards to this year, my goal, to be quite honest with you, was to do a little less production than I did last year. And the reason is family is very important to me. Stuff outside of real estate is very important to me. And with just a 2-person team, we did so much business last year that, quite honestly, I failed miserably in a lot of my other goals outside of real estate because I was just so busy. So my goal this year was slightly less in volume than it was last year to enable me to free up some time for myself personally, because I believe in the work-life balance. That said, with going into what we're dealing with now, for me, I think it's a little too early to tell if I'm going to revise those goals. I really need another 30 to 60 days, I think, to assess that, get us through May or June, through half of the year, and then I'll probably look a little deeper at that because there's still so much uncertainty. So as of now, I have not adjusted my goals for the year. We're going to keep grinding as hard as we can, and then we'll probably reassess in 30 to 45 days.
Very good. Yeah, I do think it's a little too early for us and my team, myself right now, to adjust, but we're thinking about it. So Maria.
Yes, excuse me. We do our business planning clinic every year around September or October, and we, look at our previous year's production and kind of set our goals according to that, whether we are going to stay close to the same or increase that a little bit. So I already forgot the original question. I'm sorry, but yes, we do set our goals. We have not adjusted for this year as of yet. We're going to wait and see how all this shakes out. We are still writing purchase agreements, and some of our listings, believe it or not, are being shown. So we're going to wait to see how this all shakes out before we make any adjustments for this year.
I like that. That's great. How do you guys gauge how well you're doing in real estate? And let's start with Maria.
We have a visual board. So when we set our goals at the beginning of the year, and we say we're going to have, 75 transactions, I have 75 tabs across the top of this bulletin board, if you will. And as we get a listing, we put it in, a separate section. It's hard to explain if you can just try to visualize this, but as we get a purchase agreement, we put it in the month that it's going to close. So every month, and then once it's closed, we have another section of our board, and we can keep track of what has been closed, what's pending, and it's something that we can look at every day and see every day. We also, when we get a new buyer or new listing, we have that set up there too, so we can look every day at our buyers, so that we can continue to look for the property that that they're looking for, and we keep the same with our listings, so we don't forget about our listings and keep in touch with those, and it's something that we can see every day. So we are looking at our goals set up on that board every single day, and we can see our progress every single day.
That's great. And then to you, Kirk, same question. How do you gauge how your success and how well you're doing in real estate going throughout the year?
Same as Maria, I have a goal board that I see every day that I look at, and that's not just my real estate goals. That's the goals from all three buckets that I talked about earlier. I believe you've got to look at those every day to understand what you're trying to achieve and track it. So I have the board that I look at, and then as far as real estate specific, I have two systems that I use. I have a Excel spreadsheet that I created that's pretty intricate and detailed, that breaks out buyers, sellers, referrals, totals, everything together, so that I can see anytime I enter a new transaction, whether it's from a buyer or seller, and the volume. It tracks the volume, the number of deals, the total commissions, any referrals paid or referrals earned. So I can go to one tab and I can see everything accumulated and totaled as it goes. And then I also use Lion Desk, which is used for our drip campaigns, but it also is a tracker that can show me where we stand year to date. So they're kind of redundant, but I use Lion's Desk for just the drip campaigns and whatnot. So it's an easy second tool. And then I review those. Also, I review all the goals quarterly. So I'll sit down with my agent Brad, and we sit down and see where he's at, where I'm at, and then where the cumulative team's at, so that we know exactly where we're at. And we talk through all the leads. And then obviously, he and I are in communication daily, several times a day normally, and we talk about our potential leads and where we're at with each person and that kind of thing. So it's always top of mind, exactly where we're at and where we want to be.
Great. Question to go a little deeper on that. How often do you update your numbers, and how often do you review them as a whole? I have a similar tracking system where we track everything pretty differently, sellers, buyers, and different lead sources. But how often do you update yours, and how often do you review the numbers?
I update it daily as we get a new lead or we get a new contract, whether it's from a buyer or seller. That's updated as soon as it comes in. And I'm looking at it daily, and then we review, like I said, we'll do a really in-depth dive, thorough review with the team once a quarter. But like I said, we're talking about those daily. So he and I both know where we stand, towards our goals at all times.
Very good. And do you break that down in a conversion, lead conversion? Did you break it down into certain categories throughout the process? What I mean is, like, from a lead to an appointment to a contract to a close. Do you break it down that far to see how well the percentages are going?
You know what? I don't. And the reason is I work 100% off referral. So all the leads that I have coming in are given to me from a past client or my lender or some kind of source like that. So honestly, almost every single lead I get converts. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would say over 90% of my leads convert into either a seller or a buyer transaction. So I don't track. I just know in my head, hey, I've got these potential listings, and so I just kind of track those off of my spreadsheet, but I don't break it down by category. I don't break it down by appointment to listing to close, just because, like I said, everything that comes in, I pretty much close. So I just try to do, sometimes I believe less is more. I think you can get paralysis by analysis, and you could go so far down the rabbit hole that you're spending so much time working on these spreadsheets. And so I just focus on the things that are most important to me to understand, and go from there.
That's great. Paula.
So just to kind of, probably the same like Kirk and Maria just said, I do have my board, I do have my spreadsheet, and I actually am going to see if I can post my spreadsheet here into the columns, into the work. So let me see if that works. Okay, so I just shared my spreadsheet that I use. My assistant made it. She took out all of our numbers. So if you guys want to use that spreadsheet, it's in Google Slides. Just when you go into it, make sure you go to click File and then make a copy. Don't put your numbers into this one, because this is the one that everybody can use. But I would say it's definitely important to track your numbers, whether you're a new agent or a seasoned agent, because if you don't track your numbers, then you don't know what's working for you and what isn't. And you want to be able to figure out what's working, because you might, you want to spend more time there. And if you're figuring out that something's not working, then you don't want to spend as much time on that.
Paula, thank you so much for sharing that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. That just goes to show how much, that's one of the main reasons I love this company so much, is the collaboration and how open people are to share. So Thank you so much for sharing with everybody. If you didn't notice, it's in the chat. Click on it, copy and paste that, and do what you want with it. But great tracking tool there. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to something about kind of our current climate that we're in. Have you done any restructuring, laying off, outsourcing, or reducing paid services because of what we're dealing with the COVID-19? Have you done anything changing in your business at this point? Let's start with Paula.
Yeah, definitely. So I have had to make changes. This month I only have one closing, on the books. So I do have a transaction coordinator, and so I've had to cut back on her hours. And then I also have a virtual assistant who's out of the Philippines. And if anybody needs a virtual assistant, that company is wonderful. They're called My Desk, and the people there are absolutely great. It's very affordable. So I used to have her doing 40 hours a week, and I've had to cut her back to 30 hours a week.
Okay, very cool. Kirk, and you?
I haven't made any changes, just for the fact that it's just myself, an agent, and then our transaction coordinator that we hire. She's paid on a per deal basis because she obviously works with a handful of other agents as well. So we didn't have to do any restructuring there. In regards to marketing or advertising expenses, I don't spend any money on that anyway. Like I said, because all mine is 100% referral, so I haven't had to cut back on any of those kind of expenses. So I haven't seen too much change from a expense standpoint. Although, I think we can all kind of say that from a business standpoint, things have kind of slowed down. So just trying to be smart with any possible capital expenses that I had been considering. Just trying to be diligent and make sure it's something that absolutely has to be spent right now because times are a little obviously uncertain.
Very cool. And Maria?
Yes, I have not had to cut anybody back either, but I did take the time to go through, finances, go through my check register and see if there was any services that I was paying for that I did not need. And there were a couple. So I think it's a good time to check that out and look through those finances and get all that under control. Spend as little as we have to.
That's great. Hey, I'm going to do some questions in the chat here, so I'm going to jump into some of those. And one was right to Kirk. Did you say you've been in real estate for 3.5 years? And how did you kickstart your business so now you're working off referrals only?
Yeah, 3.5 years. I've been full-time in Arizona. I do get that question a lot. And kind of what I touched on before, my first year in real estate, I closed $10 million, and that was just working by myself. And quite honestly, I did the things that most people don't want to do. I door knocked, I did open houses 4 to 5 days a week. And I just did those over and over and over because I felt like it was going to give me an opportunity to meet somebody. You're never going to meet somebody just sitting in your desk in your home office. And I understand now we're dealing with a little bit different times, but pre and post COVID-19, get out and about, meet people. That's going to give you an opportunity to have a potential client long term. So I was doing 4 to 5 open houses. I was door knocking the neighborhoods before the open houses, and I was diligent with working my sphere. The fact of the matter is, every one of us has a sphere of influence, but inside that sphere, your friends know 10 realtors, and if you're not asking for their business, one of those other realtors is. So I worked that very hard, very diligent, stayed on top of people. And then also, I went to a lender that I was introduced to when I first started, and I asked him for an opportunity. I said, give me one deal and let me show you what I can do. Just give me one opportunity. And he did, and I did a great job for him, and he was super happy. And that one deal has probably become 30 deals now from, over the last 3 years of deals that he's given me. And obviously I reciprocate back with, every potential buyer that I can give to him, I do. So that's been a great relationship there as well. So, and again, I keep beating this drum, but with your lender, for agents out there, if you're not asking your lender for referrals and you're giving them business, like, you're losing opportunities because he's giving those leads to other realtors if you're not asking. So be the squeaky wheel and produce when he does give you or she does give you a lead. So that's really how I grew it. Honestly, it's not rocket science. I tried some avenues. I tried Zillow for a few months when I started and some different things, and I just felt like those leads for me weren't effective. So I've just worked my sphere hard, done what I said I was going to do, and just built it from there.
That's great. That's some principles. I like door knocking myself too. So if any of y'all are afraid of it, find a reason to door knock and door knock. That it can be very beneficial. You can get in front of people, and it's not as scary as it looks. So just get out there and do it. Talk to people. I heard that. That's great. You get more people you talk to, the more clients you're going to get. And asking. You got to ask for business, guys. You can't just walk around and expect and tell people what you do. Hey, I'm a realtor. Hey, I'm a realtor. If you don't ask them, nothing's going to happen. So I like that. Let's go to Maria. Similar question. Do you get referral business, and how does that look? How do you get your referrals and that?
So referrals, again, we work our sphere. So referrals come from our friends and family that say, hey, I'm sending so-and-so to you. They need to buy or sell a house. Or our past clients that say, hey, same thing. We use Maria, and that has been, when I first got into business, maybe the second year, I asked another agent who was a little more experienced than me. I said, how do you get your clients? I felt like, okay, all of the people that I know that wanted to buy or sell a house bought it this year. So who am I going to sell a house to next year? So I asked him, and he said, who did you sell a house to? And it was, I looked back, it was all people that I knew. So he said, market to yourself to people that you know. So that's where that all started. So when they say market your sphere, that's what we did. And it's proven to be very effective. And our people keep coming back. We have client events, a pie giveaway, a little, spring fling party that's very inexpensive. And we partner with our lender, our title company, and we do get business from those as well because we've asked and we've supported them. So we love on our people instead of, kind of like Kirk said, instead of buying leads and getting clients and people that we don't know, we love on our sphere and our past clients, and we continue to get referrals from them, and our business, has been successful because that's what we continue to do. Almost every time, I said this yesterday in a class I did, it never fails. Almost every time we do a pie giveaway or a client event, we get somebody, one of our clients, that says, hey, we're not looking for a new place yet, but if you find, such and such a property, we would, let us know, we'd be interested. So just keeping in touch with our people. And that's been the bulk of our business for 15 years. So that's what we're going to keep doing.
If it works, don't change it. Hey, Paula, similar question to you with referral business. How do you get your referrals, and how did you build that basis of referral business?
So I do, like I said at the beginning, I do believe in going deeper with the relationships, and I like to do the pop buys, which if you've never heard of a pop buy, go onto YouTube and just search pop buys. And it's basically just dropping by your clients and dropping off little something, and you can do it based on the season, you can do it based on a holiday. For Christmas, I deliver wrapping paper to all of my past customers. And I started doing that a couple of years ago, and they absolutely love that. I send out the recipe postcards once a month. There's a company called Sensations, and it's super easy. You just, as they close, we put their name and address on the list, and every month they just mail out the postcard. And then just being active on, social media with people. You can make a past client list on your Facebook friends. And so, go on there and comment on their stuff, be a part of their life. Don't be a secret agent. Don't disappear after the transaction closes. Still stay in touch with your past clients. And then I do the Zillow leads, and I've had great success with them. So that's I went through a divorce years ago and was left with absolutely nothing. And really, I had to move in with my parents, and 2 garbage bags full of clothes is all we had, and my 4-year-old twins. So I really had to build up from nothing. And so for me, buying the Zillow leads was a quick and great way to do that. And some of those Zillow leads have turned into great friends and great clients for me.
Very good. I'm going to go to the chat again. We've got another question on here. What do you use your virtual assistant for, and what is the name of the company that you use? I know it was either Maria or Paula. One of you use a VA.
Yeah, it was me. So I'm going to type it in there so so everybody will have that. The company is called My Desk, and they will pair you up with someone. It's very affordable. It's $4 an hour is what you pay. And then the key to it is you just have to make sure you have the time to train the virtual assistant. So I had my in-house assistant train my virtual assistant via Zoom. And so she really just shadowed my assistant for probably a good 3 weeks or a month. And then the other thing is, every task that we do, we've created a how-to video library in our Dropbox account. So that way our virtual assistant can easily pull up a how-to video and see how to do things. And then, she does tons of stuff. She will input our listings for us. She will post things on social media. She will follow up on showings for feedback and send that feedback to the sellers. In Florida, they're not allowed to prospect for business, so she doesn't do anything like that. Just things in my KV Core account, communication. When somebody emails me, she'll save that into the KV Core account. I use BombBomb video emails, so she'll put the clients in there and set that up. So they can really do just about anything. It's whatever you train them to do.
That's great. We'll move on to another question that I have for you guys. It's around coaching. Do you guys receive coaching? If so, how often are you in touch with your coach, and what do those check-ins or conversations or how does the program look? Let's start off with Kirk.
Well, in regards to real estate, no, I have not done coaching, and I don't intend to. I have done a lot of coaching in my previous life in the corporate world. I had several different courses and different things that I went through, but with real estate, I'm not going to. I do believe in coaching. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it can be very positive for sure. But I just have made the decision in real estate that I am not going to do it. I'm pretty disciplined with what I do. I have a system that I follow that I've kind of morphed from my previous life and brought it into real estate. So I'm pretty self-accountable with the things that I do. So I've just chosen at this time not to do coaching for real estate.
Maria?
I do have a coach, and I'm coaching with Hank Evank. If any of you know him or may have seen him around, he is an EXP agent also. It's an accountability factor, and I had met Hank years and years ago and always wanted to coach with him. So when the opportunity came, I jumped on it, and it's been very good. It's been good. We have group coaching, have personal coaching, one-on-one, and he's got some excellent programs. And if anybody would be interested to find out a little bit more about it, I'd be happy to tell you about it. But it's accountability.
How often do you check in with that?
We once a week, and there's a couple of different programs. So there's a couple of different opportunities that I have, and they're all once a week. So I actually have, time with him a couple of hours a week. And there's different programs. So some may be once a month, some may be once a week, some may be group coaching. Most of the ones I'm in are group, but he's always available if I need a personal phone call.
Great. Paula?
So I do the coaching through Buffini, and then I have a call with my coach every couple of weeks. And for me, it's just really opened my eyes to going deeper with relationships with the client, with my past clients. So that's kind of what was missing for me. I was, doing all the things like, I do like to door knock. I do like to prospect for expires and for sale by owners. So I was spending a lot of my time going after new business and not spending enough time diving deeper into my past clients with the pop buys, with the events, that sort of thing. So that's kind of where it's helped me grow.
Okay, I want to get back to one of the sore subjects for all real estate agents, lead generating, right? We're all supposed to do it. We don't all always do it. We don't do it. Some of us don't do it consistency. So I'm going to ask, do you lead generate? What does it look like? How consistent are you with it? And how much time do you spend on that every day? Paula, let's start with you.
Okay, so I'm probably not the most organized person with it. Just, with doing 56 transactions, that is very busy. And so there's always fires to put out. So I would love to say that I'm disciplined and I lead generate every day, but I don't. So right before all of this happened, if you guys have ever heard, Ricky Caruth just came over to EXP. He has a great program for lead generating. It's a free program. It's called zerotodiamond.com. And so I had an account through Redx, and that's where I got my phone numbers for expires and for sale by owners. And I would just kind of jump in to do that whenever I had pockets of time. So it's just hard in our schedule, it's hard to predict when fires are going to happen and what things happen. So, but yes, my goal is to be more consistent, but it has been difficult to set aside a time to do that every day.
Very cool. I love that. That was so honest and real. We got to do that as agents. We got to be honest with ourselves. So, we can't tell ourselves that we lead generator or tell others that we are if we're really not doing that. So thank you very much for that, Paula. Maria, what about you?
We, again, with our clients being our sphere, we have a Facebook page, a client Facebook page that we continue to post different stuff, holiday stuff, what's going on in the market stuff, just kind of we have corralled, I guess, our clients. So we have them all in one place so we can communicate easily with them. We have the client events, we just continue to love on our clients. And that's our lead generation because that's where our clients come from. So I don't call for sale by owners or expireds. I never have. It made me very anxious to have to do that. So I didn't do that. And I found that working with my own clients has again been the fruit of our business. So that's what we continue to do. So lead generation, as far as calling, door knocking, that kind of stuff, we don't do. But we do lead generate with our own clients, and the fact that we keep in very close contact with them throughout the year.
Kirk, what does your lead generating, what does it look like for you?
So to echo what the other agents have said, we definitely lead gen through our sphere of influence, of course, our current and past clients. One thing that we're doing right now is I'm sending a personalized handwritten letter to each client, and I'm not even mentioning real estate. It's basically just saying, hey, I'm here for you if I can help you in any way possible. And I did that through text message or email about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had great response to it. And I'm going to do it on a handwritten letter and mail it to everybody because people appreciate the effort. They appreciate that you're checking in on them and that you took the time to do that. And again, I'm not even talking about real estate, but ultimately, with a lot of those clients, real estate does come up and it will eventually lead to business. But honestly, with this project, I don't even care if it does because I care about my clients and I just want to make sure that they understand that I'm here to help you. If there's something that I can do because you can't get it done, please let me know and I'm going to try my best to help. So that's one little project that we're doing now. The rest of our lead gen, besides just our sphere, really does come through our lender referrals and our open houses. You know, my agent pounds open houses hard. He generally does 3 to 4 a week. And we get a lot of buyer leads through that process. And I know a lot of agents, they don't like doing open houses, but I'm telling you, in all price points, they work. And I'll give you guys an example. We had a listing, it was a $1.7 million listing. And it went under contract very quickly in a couple days. But my agent got 3 buyers from that open house in those 2 days, all north of $1 million buyer, 3 of them. And that was from one open house. And so a lot of people say, well, they don't work in higher price points. That's crap. They do work. They work at all price points because there's more and more people that are coming in unrepresented. So our lead gen is coming from our sphere, from open houses, and then just our past clients.
That's great. Yeah. Open houses will do work. Just got to stick at it, just like everything. If you do it once or twice or 3 times and stop doing it, well, of course it's not going to work. You got to keep on doing it and get better at it. So thanks for that, Kirk. Next thing is let's talk about your guys' daily schedule. What does that look like? What does it? Do you use time blocking? Do you even kind of do a daily schedule, or do you just kind of get up and you have a few things you got to do and that's it? So let's start with Paula. Paula?
Hey, I'm sorry, I lost sound in the world. What was the question?
The question was, what does your daily schedule look like? Do you use time blocking, or do you use like a few tasks for the day? Like, what does your daily schedule look like from day to day?
So I don't use time blocking. I would love to use time blocking, but for me, it just almost created too much stress because then I'm a little bit OCD. And so then when something threw me off of my schedule, then it would stress me out. So I've learned that I have to be probably more gracious with myself. So I realized that wasn't the right thing for me. So when I get up in the morning, and I'm at my desk, I kind of write down, okay, what are the most important things that I need to take care of? And I start with that.
Very good. What about Maria?
Yes, I try to make a to-do list the night before of stuff I know that I need to get done. I'm not a super great time blocker, but I'm trying to be. And then, during the day, of course, in the morning, check in with my showings, updates, and listings, and contracts, and what's happening with that and what needs to be done. So the rest of the day is for appointments and classes and coaching, homework.
Very good. And Kirk?
So for me, I guess it's kind of a tale of 2 different schedules. prior to what we're dealing with now, and then obviously what we're dealing with now in the world. So generally in normal times, I have a very strict routine. I generally get up around 4:30. I sit down at my desk and I look at all the new listings that are coming out, because obviously we have a lot of buyers that are looking in different areas and different price points. And so I always believe that the early bird gets the worm. Our inventory was so critically low that a good property in a good area was selling within days, or if not the first day. So I wanted to be the first to see it. So that's how I always start my day, look at all the new listings. If I see something that fits what a buyer's looking for, I send it to them, message them, hey, check your inbox. So that was the first thing. And then I'd hit the gym, I'd come back and I'd eat breakfast, and then I would kind of get my day started. So outside of that first start of my day, the first, let's say 3 or 4 hours, then the rest of it's really fluid depending on what's going on. If we're having new listings that we're preparing for, or a lot of my listings are luxury listings where they're all in-person showings. So, depending on how many appointments do I have for that? So we'd kind of schedule around what I have for those obligations. And then obviously kind of meetings I'm trying to have with my sphere, obviously to generate business. So the first 3 or 4 hours it was always pretty set. And then after that, it would be fluid, just depending on what is happening that week and what I have to accomplish.
Oh, I was muted. Sorry about that. Working with two different things here, trying to talk and listen in another earpiece and stuff. And in the audience here, feel free to type some questions if you have them in the chat. And then just a quick question to you. It looks like maybe we lost Paula, but let's go to Maria. We have a lot of extra, or we don't have a lot of extra time, but some of us have some extra time right now with what's going on. Are you feeling that with taking any classes that are offered in EXP, and like, what are your favorite classes in EXP?
I am taking advantage of some of the classes. I like the social media classes. I think Thursday afternoons, there's one, there's a couple. I have been, aside from the world, I'm working with, I'm a certified mentor with EXP, so working with my mentees kind of on the side, and while we have this downtime, to encourage them to get some of their systems in place. Also having, updates every week with our lender on a Zoom call, a ton of Zoom calls. In case y'all didn't notice, everybody wants to do a Zoom call now, but updates with our lender, just trying to stay busy and get things done. Some of the little piddly things like, updating our listing packets and our buyer packets and stuff like that, we kind of put on the side during the regular time. There's a great time to do it is now, for sure, while we have some extra time.
All right, sounds good. A little bit different question, Kirk, because I saw something in the chat here. No open houses right now. You had talked about your agent does a lot of open houses. I don't know if that's the case in Arizona. I know every state is so different right now. Are they allowing open houses? And if not, what are you or your agent doing to fill that time?
Arizona has not banned open houses, but our broker here has strongly suggested, and rightfully so, that we don't do them. So we haven't done an open house for, let's see, it'll be 2 weeks as of Saturday. But what we did last weekend, my agent and I, we went to several of our listings and we did video walkthroughs. He videoed me and then I videoed him. And they were about 5 to 6 minute videos where we basically toured the house, did a quote unquote virtual open house, and we posted that on our social media sites and sent that to any interested party. So trying to stay active, obviously working hard for the seller, our client, to add value. That's something I believe very strongly in, is I always tell my agent, add value in whatever it is that you do for our client. So we did that to try to fill the void. And we got very good response from that. I got 2,200 views, I think, on one of the videos. And actually, I think I'm getting an offer on one of them today. So that was good. And we're just trying to do creative things like that to fill the void, obviously, and to continue to try to push our listings.
That's great. You got to adapt to this situation. Let's go to you, Maria. Somebody said something to the effect of when a buyer or seller doesn't want you to love on them, what do you do? So if somebody isn't receptive to like the gifting you're doing or something, I think that's kind of what it is. What do you do when that comes up?
Well, I don't know. Thankfully, I don't know. We have one client in the last 15 years that we probably have not kept in touch with, and the feeling, I would say in that case, the feeling is probably mutual. It might be somebody that you don't want to keep in touch with either, if I'm going in the right direction with the question. But if you have a rough transaction or something like that, we had a bad transaction once with someone that was referred to us. However, we're still friends with that person. It'll go south, but you have to take responsibility, I guess, if something goes wrong in the transaction that is maybe could have been avoided in any kind of way. And sometimes even if it can't be avoided, you have to take responsibility just to be the bigger person. But if there's, so I don't know the answer to that question. We really haven't had any, again, because our clients are who they are, and they're our friends and family and referrals from those people. So, but if somebody said they didn't want to be invited to our client events, or they didn't want, whatever we have to give, then we would just leave them alone, I guess, and, maybe send them an email every now and then and just checking in with them, or a phone call just to check in with them. And if they say that I won't do that, then we won't do that. I honestly haven't run into that problem, though. So if I didn't answer that as you intended it to be, if that wasn't the right question, then try me back.
Oh, Holly said on there that Maria's from Louisiana. Everyone loves on everyone there. So that's probably true.
That's
depending
right.
on what area you're in, people are more receptive to that contact.
I would agree with that.
Let's go to Paula with this question. Somebody asked kind of, with the more casual environment that we're in right now, what are you doing? How are you dressing? They said specifically with door knocking, but are you getting up every day? Are you getting dressed? Dressed for success is kind of a funny term, but are you actually still dressing professional, even if you're working out of your house and in this current casual climate? There's the joke of the Zoom call where you're wearing your pajamas on the bottom but a suit on the top. What does that look like for you every day? Let's go with Paula.
So that's kind of funny. Yes, there are days. Actually, this morning I did, do the full thing. And my daughter looked at me and said, "Mom, why are you all dressed up?" And, I just thought, well, today I did want to do all of my makeup and my hair. But some days I don't. But in our area, we are still showing houses. Of course, not as much. And when we do show, I do the mask and gloves, and we keep the 6 feet apart. So I started to feel like it was okay for me to be casual, because I thought, well, I don't have any appointments. But then I started to find that, the client would message me and say, "Hey, this just came out. Can we go see this?" And here I was in my pajamas at 12 o'clock. So I've realized that I do need to just get up and be ready to go, just in case something comes up.
I like that. Kirk, what are you doing with that?
Well, as a male, I don't have the same issues with having to do my hair and makeup, so I can be ready pretty quickly. Yesterday was a good example. I was just working from the office, and so I was in pretty casual clothes. And then I have a new listing coming up, and the seller wanted to meet me over there, and so I said, "Yeah, I can meet you there in an hour." I took a shower, got ready in 20 minutes, and was over there. So I just kind of go depending on what I have to get done that day. But honestly, part of this time, with as slow as it's been, I've used the time away from work to focus on things that I want to accomplish in my personal life as well. Because like I told you guys early on, my goal was a little bit less this year than last year because I felt like I was a slave to the job. And I'm just a big believer in work-life balance. You can't work, and sacrifice the other things in your life because you're going to end up with nothing at some point. And so I've taken this time as an opportunity to try to accomplish and focus on some things outside of real estate. But then inside real estate, obviously, I now have my license in California and Nevada as well as Arizona. And so I've, worked on continuing education and other things like that. So to answer your question, I would say it's a mix. Some of it is casual, and then some of it has been obviously dressed for clients.
Very good. And then we'll wrap this up here in just a moment. Maria.
Ask that question again.
Same question to you. How are you dressing? Are you getting up every day dressing for success? And how are you dressing now that we have this more of a casual kind of thing going on?
Very casually. I do get up and shower and get dressed. No makeup. My hair needs a haircut and a highlight horribly. But, it's same as everybody else. I just have to wait till it's better. So I am getting up. I am, coming into my home office and sitting on my computer doing some stuff, getting stuff done. But, just dressing pretty casually and comfortably.
Very good. We have one last question, then I really do want to wrap it up. If anybody needs to go, feel free. But somebody asked, are you active in agent attraction? And what are you doing if you are? Let's go with Kirk, did you have to go?
No, I can answer. It's a pretty easy answer for me. No, I'm not active in agent attraction. And I quite honestly, I've never focused on it. My focus is selling real estate. So I have not focused on agent attraction, and quite honestly, I don't have any plans to.
What about you, Maria?
Yeah, we do a little bit. And I have not done a whole lot during these last couple of weeks, but I have a plan. And to do some stuff, reach out to some people while we're sitting here with this downtime. So I will be working on that. And, with a new website, that'll be a great way to do it. And with the classes offered to everybody that everybody can get in the world, I think that's a great thing as well. And have offered that to a couple of people, and we'll send it out to a couple more.
What about you, Paula?
So not very active with agent attraction, but I do think that the education pass is a great opportunity. So, I've been, reaching out to some agents and just a very, agents I have a relationship with. And, if the opportunity is there, then I've invited them with the education pass. And I think that's a great tool that everybody can take advantage of. Build a relationship with agents, offer them that education pass, meet them in the world, show them around, tell them about the classes. So that's kind of my plan for agent attraction for the next while.
That sounds great. Me, myself, I am a little bit involved in it. I definitely don't spend the focus of my time on it. So if you are interested in that, look on the training schedule, and there are a few classes every week around agent attraction, and I would start there and then look at the big producers. If that's something you want to focus on, look at the big producers in that. Look at Brent Gove, look at some of the materials he has, that kind of stuff. So that would be the direction I would point someone in if they want to expand on that. But thanks everybody to come today. We're going to wrap this up, and I really want to say thanks for hanging out, listening to us. If you have any questions for any of us, EXP is very open. You can ask us questions hit us up in the workplace chat or find us on Workplace and send us an email or a personal message. I know we're all pretty open. I've gotten responses from Kirk before when I've asked him a question on a class he was teaching. So definitely reach out to us after this. And thanks, and stay safe out there.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.